budgets to do with medicine. And how can we improve on this? Because suppose the next day the donors stop, won't we be having a crisis? So, Madam Minister, we want a detailed explanation here and what we can do as Parliament to change this, because it is so sad and very embarrassing that for us we contribute 30% and then the donors bring in the 70%.
So that one again, how can they get a capacity of, how can they manage to give us, but they cannot sell? But we release this money, and evidence shows that this money came to NMS, 18 billion. We want accountability at the how many vaccines have we procured so far by NMS. That one must be answered directly by you, not the minister.
And if we have not spent anything, just tell us where the money is by bringing a document from the bank to show that that 18 billion shillings is lying somewhere as you wait for the pharmaceutical companies to allow us to buy from them. And for emphasis, Honorable Sewungu said, how come that these people can donate to us, but they can't sell to us?
So, can I go to page 13, honorable members?
11 still.
Eh?
11.
But honorable members, let me first finish these questions.
Yes.
Because you are going to make me forget my areas. And I gave you. When you go to page 13, honorable members, it must be remembered that schools constitute one of the highest risk environments as other one. Now, we want to know who is fooling who. The First Lady, the Minister of Education, is saying that the issue of opening schools is put in the hands of God. Now, you are saying that you are going to give, you want to vaccinate, and statistics are not given. This committee will not work on speculation. You must tell us by now, as a ministry, how many teachers have you vaccinated vis-a-vis the number of teachers going to teach children in Uganda. So that when we are raising issues with the Ministry of Education, they don't give any reason. And pupils, they are talking about teachers first. They give us we don't have to get those excuses that has failed to open up. So who is fooling who? Between the Ministry of Health and you all release different statements. Madam Chair, I want to.
Who are these like Ugandans who get vaccinated using the Johnson drug? And the fact that some countries don't recognize the type of vaccine we are using.
Okay, can you hear the person? No.
And Ginger Road.
And Ginger Road. No, you are saying.
We go there right now.
Other members, we had an accident of a member of Parliament from Kiraka County, Honorable Olanya. I have had a number of, but I have not had ambulances stationed along roads that are restricted.
Major highways.
Major highways. So I know of an ambulance in November that was given by Honorable Bossa. And I use this road regularly. That's why I was telling you that in Kalungu, we have a first page ambulance. I've never put an ambulance for Kalungu because we have them, those hospitals. But this is not correct. We need these facts.
Right, Honorable.
I'm not right, Honorable. I don't want to take the powers of the speaker. You might arrest me that I'm giving myself another title. I know you are wishing me that Honorable Hanifah, the way we are good friends. Can I erase these matters?
No, first of all, they should do not that in particular.
Madam Chair.
Before we leave here, just tell us if I'm moving on Ginger Road, where is the ambulance station?
Madam
If I'm moving to Western Uganda on Masakalo, where one town there is where the ambulances are parked. Hoima Road, they are parked where?
Madam Chair, Madam Honorable Chair, I do agree with you when you said that one is we apologized, and you also said it was beyond of our own take that we got the questions and we did not give members, as one colleague, my daughter said, this report in time. And you asked that the members would, you are requested through you that members should, again after here, look closely at this document. In this document, you had said the ambulances are at referral hospitals. Now, the semantics of saying that if it is at Masaka Referral Hospital, it's supposed to take the coverage of that load Masaka. The semantics may be in the English and the terms both of us are using, but we have said in this statement where they are stationed.
Madam Minister, you are becoming clever.
No, I am not.
Seniority.
We'll come back, Madam
I'm
Chair.
becoming clever in the Ugandan way.
Madam Chair, we
Tell
are.
us about law ambulances placed along the highways to respond to.
Yeah, but they are not stationed.
But where people who are involved in an accident.
Madam Chair,
Then we asked you, and he said that they are located in hospitals.
Madam Chair, I take note of that. Station, place, these are English semantics, but we shall answer that one and show where they are exactly. My apologies.
Okay, Madam Chair, honorable members, because I'm about to conclude my areas, you look, past experience where boats for immunization went missing after handover in some districts. What was done to those culprits of these missing boats?
First of all, we
And
this.
that one takes us to page 16, 17.
Okay, I want to cut that one.
Yes, let me try my point, Honourable Minister. Because you are failure to have these boats running, the ambulance boats, you are giving past experiences and the problems you have faced. However, what is the purpose of an ambulance? It is for the emergency. Now, when you tell us that you have not trained the people who are going to use them, they are stationed at Entebbe, at the Air Force Marine. What?
Shall go there.
It will become a negative expenditure. Because the moment they come to the country and people are dying at the lakeside, at the islands, without these boats working, there is wastage of funds. That should be noted. The purpose of an ambulance, we should go and Google the meaning of an ambulance. It must be an immediate rescue for saving of people's lives. Taking them to the proper.
As Honorable Sewungu normally says, just let's not give me time so that I don't forget. Now, on this question of the marine and the boats,
And the immunization board.
what all of them. Madam Chair, I want to tell this committee, honorable members of this committee through you, that my senior minister presented into Parliament a comprehensive report about it. I promise to attach the same as a reference point, because we shall continue asking from there to there. Then when you read it through the same, the report will be addressing some of these pertinent issues. And what I wanted to correct was the impression that even that report will tell you when these boats came in, at what time and why they took long. Even they came in at the time of COVID. And we are not saying that now. Now we have put trained people to find specialists, as we say. Now we have formed some as a collective effort of all the parties concerned. So now the question is that you said to us that the other colleague, okay, that we continue saying the 2 weeks, when. So our question is going to be answered, when are they going to be finally operationalized? We have not yet done.
Thank you. That's
Where
an
this
additional
was by
statement.
It is true that you had the Senate Parliament here, but if you can take time to research, you will see that we always have a turnover of 75%. So, that something was talked about in the last month during the Senate Parliament, and the questions continue to come through the new MPs. That means the issue is not resolved. As much as we shall encourage new MPs to try and trace these matters through the answer and using their research officers, it is still their right for you to continue giving them this information.
Even 2 weeks back or 1 week back in the 11th Parliament. That's why I'm saying, so I want to bring it back. So if the minister gave it, I think last week or last week that one. It's the current one, and I am saying to go together because that time maybe other members of here. But now as a committee, whatever we have, we should come to the committee also so that we give out this information. That's all that I refer to.
Okay, so as I come and every information here, give us evidence-backed information. About to acquisition of land, of expansion of Solitary Referral Hospital. You said they have refused to give you a title, and they are right. Now, this is an agricultural institute, and you want to take away 19 acres of land from them. Do you expect them to give you that land? Unless we are using it, you are taking it under duress. But can I request you now, Minister, with your technical team, go and look for where to buy land for yourselves? Because at the end of the day, the Committee of Agriculture will come and the question how we got that land. And that's why they are resisting to give you this title. Otherwise, I want to thank Honourable Minister Hanifah Kawoiya. Thank you for being a new minister, and you have responded as if you have been there for some good time. That's a small new. However, we ask through you, Mr. Kamabale, to give us the status of the 18 billion meant for vaccines.
The assurance, doing this because I want you to compromise us or any. But to give members of this committee an acknowledgement or something, because they are working here, they come near you people who make the promises. I want you to prioritize these constituencies, not because these are my members, but because these are your spokespersons in the plenary. I also want to draw your attention to the provisions of Rule 180. And I want to know, when you come back, if you would like to use it. Withdrawal of assurances. A withdrawal of an assurance or undertaking shall be made to the Committee of the Government Assurance and Implementation, which shall in return report to the House. For the purpose of this rule, an assurance shall mean any undertaking or promise made by the Minister, Prime Minister, President or Vice President on the floor of the House. So, instead of us carrying around assurances worth the trillions of money, it is also time to come clean and say, yes, we have promised the people of Kapchora, the hospital. But for now, we wish to withdraw that promise, and we hope to return it at such and such a time. Because if it goes on record that you will not be building a hospital in Kapchora, then those people can start looking around for donors or even restating their request. But you see, for me, I will for these members that will force you to withdraw some of these assurances. Because now 15 you say Uganda Kapchora General Hospital regional referral status. And response, one sentence, this is still at the pre-proposal stage and the funding has not yet been identified. Why don't you withdraw this? And I want to ask you, do you know the importance of Kapchora when we talk about it? In Kapchora, we have our sportsmen who represent Uganda at international competitions. Some of these things want to take them there so that those athletes are in a good place where they have an hospital, and specifically you would think about building an hospital with a sports wing. To even other Ugandans who would travel who have issues with sports medical problems, they will travel to Kapchora. But you come here after so many years of promising it to teach. The man runs himself. He's cut out of the body, trying to represent me and say, oh, we shall give you a playground, we shall build you a hospital, we shall give your area this and this. And then we don't deliver. Finally, we come to an assurance committee and give them only one sentence. Instead of coming clean and say, we are withdrawing this assurance. Please, if you have any means, try to look around for donations to be better that way, instead of continuing to give us these answers. we have started on the starting of the starting of the started. No, we shall not allow it. Finally, this committee, Madam Chair, has been given powers. Why are you give a promise and don't attach a date? This committee can now come and say, okay, go and do this thing within this time. And this is what we are going to do. We are going to look at this report for assurances that we are open-ended. We just came and said we shall do that for you. Next time you come here, we shall author a report saying for this matter we have told you to do it within this period, because it is also part of this law, this good law you gave us, that this committee has power to order government. If government gives, let me read it for you. The chairperson of the Government Assurance and Implementation Committee shall present a report to the House on the status of the implementation and the extent to which the assurances, promises, and the undertakings have been fulfilled, withdrawn, or broken. Where the government official who gave the assurance did not attach time, the committee shall, in its powers, fix the time for the implementation of such undertaking. So for us, we report both the broken promises, the fulfilled ones, and the frustrated ones. Like very soon, these are your notes. We shall go to Lugoa and make a report on the status of the hospital. So, kindly use the law. Don't retain promises you'll never be able to fulfill. It is even very honorable for somebody to say, I have promised you this, but I'm not able to deliver it. So people can look somewhere else. However, I want to thank you very much, Madam Minister.